Welcome in everybody. This is Red, White, and Bills. We got a very special show for you. We got a recap for the Steelers Vikings game. We got Bills talk, Bills Bucks talk, and we got a few more things in between. I got one of my very special friends, AJ Duncan, aka Bootsy, aka Chief Bootsy, and on the show today. He's very interested in getting into podcasting. This is his first time doing it. Show some love, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Go ahead, man.
Hey, thank you, Cool. I appreciate it, bro. I know Cool since I went to since our army days back in Myers. So thank you for the opportunity, Cool. You definitely giving me the inspiration to start this podcasting thing. I love what you're doing on your channel, bro. And I am a Steelers fan, but I love all sports. And just a background story, Cool got me fucking going crazy over Bills Mafia, man. So all love between everybody, man. Yeah, yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about. And let them know what you're thinking about doing when you start your podcast channel and your YouTube.
So I haven't come up with the name yet, but I'm probably gonna have everything up by the end of next week. Um, with the idea of my podcast YouTube channel, just generally everything sports. I'm a big football fan when it comes to college and NFL, as well as basketball when it comes to college and NBA. So very big into those sports. I am a Steelers fan, a Knicks fan, Michigan fan when it comes to football, as well as a Duke fan when it comes to college basketball. So, but those aren't the only topics I'm hitting. I'm trying to hit every topic overall. I'm very big into fantasy, so I will be doing like a lot of fantasy posts talking about fantasy players, lineup changes, stuff like that. So just generally everything sports. I'm open to talk about any team, any sport. You know what I mean? So I just been around doing it all. So I just love the game. Simply put.
Good looks. That's a lot of good stuff you could talk about. I can't wait to get
Mm-hmm.
into it. Buffalo Bills report says let's go Bills. That's right. We're gonna get into that for sure. But first, how you feeling about that game Thursday, man? Let's talk about it.
Man, overall, like there's a lot of positive and negatives. A lot of positive and negatives. Um, some of the positives I really do, man. Like I wanted to tear up looking at Ben do that 5 yard run for that fucking first down, man. Like as a Steelers fan, like I knew this is Ben's last run, and I know after this is all said and over. But like just to see him go out there and go hard, man. That's exactly what I want. You know what I mean? He can throw his 4 interceptions a game if he really wanted to, realistically, if he really did want to. But at the end of the day, like I feel like ever since he came to himself, came to the team, which the news came out like 2 weeks ago that he wanted to, this was going to be his last season. I've really seen up stock in his game. You know what I mean? He only thrown 1 interception in the last 3 games, I believe.
Yeah.
He's and I think personally that Vikings game was his best game of the season. You know what I mean? 308 yards with 3 TDs and one interception. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't do nothing about that, man. That first half was awful, but we came through that second half. But the main thing that killed me, man, and this is an ongoing problem with our team this season. We're not playing Steelers football. We're losing the game in the trenches. Simply put, we win in the trenches. That's our identity when it comes to Steelers football. We always have a good offensive line. We always have a good defensive line. Yes, we lost TJ Watt and Highsmith last game, but and we also lost Tua and Alu early in the season. So that hurt. That just hurt our middle as it is. Dudes are running on us, man. Like 30th in the rush all season. That's not Steelers football.
No.
I believe the commentator said like this hasn't happened since like 1950. Like that
It's
just
something
shows this
crazy.
isn't Steelers football. This isn't Steelers football. Our inside linebackers, Devin Bush has a drastic like change since his injury. You know what I mean? And it's not like it's not even his athletic ability. He just doesn't look like he knows where he's supposed to be on the field. And as a Devin Bush fan, as a Michigan fan, I was ecstatic to have him on his team. I was defending him that he was better than Devin White. You know what I mean? Drafted same class. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Devin White ain't got nothing with my boy DB because DB hits hard. DB is that true generational linebacker. But
Yeah, he's
since
great.
that injury, since that injury, and I know when you say like ACL injuries is really mental keep, and I think that's really what he's going through right now. It's just a mental problem when it comes to the pass coverage right now. That pass coverage game is just not there. Joe Scobert was supposed to come to this team. He was supposed to be kind of like that inside linebacker leader, give us that extra pass coverage help. And he's not even doing it. He just got pulled Thursday for Buddy Johnson. So,
Wow.
I mean, for the rookie. So, I don't know, man. So, just a lot of things. And then our secondary, losing Mike Hilton, that just hurts. But I don't know. And the offensive line gave up 5 sacks to Ben.
Yes. So, it's rough, man.
How can you have your best game passing, but also have the worst game offensive line-wise after having a stellar game against the Ravens? Our offensive line did amazing against the Ravens. Then we come around and do this. So it's kind of, it definitely hurts a little bit,
Yeah, it's rough. And besides the Ravens game, there was a couple games that I saw of you guys this year where you just get blown out in the first half and you make the Chargers game. You weren't really blown out, but it was like 2-score game in the first half. Right. And then you're down to the last play in the big thick of it. So you guys have struggled in the first half, it seems, but then you get coached up, you make adjustments, which what my team's struggling to do is making adjustments at half. Mm-hmm. Tomlin's getting the boys right, and you're getting back into games. But as far as Ben goes, like you said, as soon as he said, "Yeah, this is my last go around," he's got that mindset like every play is you got to play like it's your last play. You know what I mean? And he did great. Like you said, 308 yards and 3 TDs. That's a good stat line, especially when you're getting sacked 5 times and the offensive line's not holding up. And
correct.
Your defense isn't helping at all. And you had to climb back down 29-0. Like any other team.
Which I love. I love, by the way. The fact that, that's Steelers football. You know what I mean? I think Mike Tomlin went into that locker room, chewed all their asses up.
Yeah.
And they're nah. When we come out here, I want to see, and our defense held Kirk Cousins is going to be Kirk Cousins. Come on, we all know that. We all know that. He can't hold the lead. He can't hold the lead. You know what I mean? He's gonna give you the little flurries, the little fancy rinky things the first half, but then second half, you already it's just Kirk Cousins. It's Captain Kirk. We all know where the ship's going to go with Captain Kirk.
Yeah, that's why he wasn't in the MVP talks when he had 24 touchdowns and 2 picks. Everyone's like, why isn't he talked about? It's just because that's just who he is, Kirk Cousins, man.
You know who he is, man. He's like, you know what I mean? He's like that poor. He's like a poor man, you know what I mean? He's just going. He's a rich man's Ryan Fitzpatrick. No disrespect to Ryan Fitzpatrick, because I love him. I adore Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's amazing.
Yeah, we love him too.
But Kirk Cousins, yeah, I know y'all do. But Kirk is just not it to me. He's just not it. It comes to it, just getting it done, and then showed that second half. You know what I mean? Yeah, you lost Phelan, but I think he has potentially one of the best rookie wide receivers in Osborne. I love Osborne. You know what I mean? And he hasn't even been giving them that many looks this season. You should be using that 3-headed monster. You should be using that Jefferson, Phelan, and Osborne. Yeah. You know what I mean? You should definitely be using that. Especially when Cook went down. Too. Exactly. So, and I don't know, man. And then Justin Jefferson was just feasting on Cam Sutton. Oh,
you don't want none of it, dude.
I'm gonna say first half, and it could have been worse. Justin Jefferson had only surprisingly had 79 yards for 7 catches and 1 TD. Let's not remind you, he did drop. I think it was 2 touchdown passes. There was a couple. There was the one dime that Kirk Cousins threw in the second half. Can't remember. It came right out of his hand. It looked like a good 40-yard, 50-yard banger, and he just dropped right out of his hand. So it could have been really worse than what it was. But yeah, man, just not adjusting to it. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be having Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton just came from playing safety. We're gonna put this man to play man coverage with arguably the best wide receiver in the league right now. Arguably, you know what I mean? So it's
he didn't want. He was 10 yards off the ball every time he caught it. He didn't want nothing of it.
Yeah, bro. It was something. I'm definitely dropping back in the zone. I don't know, man. It was definitely just some better. I just don't know. And that's just one of our things. We don't adjust to the game sometimes. I feel like we just don't adjust. That's just me. That's just me personally, though.
I feel that. So I got to bring it up. Week 1 when we played. They were saying from week 1 the Steelers got the most elite front 7. Their defense is going to be top notch this year, and then all of a sudden now we're where we're at. Do you account that to just plagued with injuries, or do you think guys just are falling off, or is it a mixture of both?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both because some of it has to be accountable to our offense overall. We're just when our defense has to keep coming out in the field, every three and out. You know what I mean? Like that Bills game, it showed. Like y'all just had a bad week. We just wanted it more than y'all that week. Y'all just had a bad week and we just wanted it more. We caught y'all in a good week. Starting off the season, you know what I mean? We caught y'all up. Like, I don't know, like our offense is just when our defense has to go out there so many often times, you know what I mean? We already don't have Tua. Tua was supposed to be back by week 4 or 5. He didn't come back. We lost Alu in the offseason. So when it comes to that, you know what I mean? We can't have our deep – like there's only so much TJ Watt can do. We lost Mike Hill in this season. You know what I mean? We lost Bud Dupree. Those are two key figures on our defense. When Bud Dupree was on the other side, TJ Watt, that was – you're going to have to run up the middle and see Stephon and Alu. So it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And having Devin Bush take a step back, that really – I mean, like – I think that has to be the biggest loss right now. The fact that his playing right now is just not simply doing it. He's simply not doing it. And I'm not saying we need to bench him because we know we traded up for the guy. You know what I mean? We gave up. We gotta play him. Simply have to play him. But damn, like it's just like dog. Like he had a great game. He had the one deflection that went to that interception to Witherspoon, which I thought was amazing. Really good tip on that interception. So like it's just. You know, I'm not losing faith in him. He's still early, but like we didn't even give him the extension. You know what I mean? We didn't even pick up his 5th option. So like that already is a bad sign. As a top 12 pick, you should. That's no question you'd be picking up that option when it comes to that 5th-year option. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be up for debate. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Definitely was one of those things.
Yeah. How do you feel that? Because Melvin Ingram, when we played you guys, it was Melvin Ingram. You got Cam Hayward, you got Watt, and you got Tuitt was playing, and Bud Dupree. No, not Bud Dupree, right? He wasn't there in the first game of the year, I don't think. You traded him.
Bud Dupree, yeah, we lost him last year.
I was thinking of Bush, that's right. But everyone on your defensive line had like 10+ pressures. Like it was just like Cam Hayward had 14 pressures or something unreal against our left guard, and that's when we knew, we got problems in Buffalo with the O-line. Something happened to these dudes. They all fell off. It doesn't make any sense. Because last year, if you remember, when we had Darrell Williams lined up with TJ Watt at right tackle, Watt didn't get even – he might have got one tackle the whole game. And then coming in this year, we're like, oh, he knows how to play Watt. Like he did outstanding last year at tackle. We could expect something similar. But nobody played well. So – after that game, I was like, yeah, the Steelers front seven is just it's going to be hard to get through them. And then, we've been talking about, they kind of fell off in a way, injuries and setbacks. And that's all. It's true, man. One person out of normal play, it could really hurt your team, especially in a spot like when you got one of your best players always hurt. TJ Watt's always coming out of the game. And, now my groin's hurt and I got to sit the rest of the game. And
to talk about the groin, we don't have to talk to our trainer or something, dog. I think we probably broke the record for most groin injuries in the season, bro. Every week, I feel like someone would pop up on the injury report. Groin. Like, are we not? How's our techniques when we're squatting during practice? Are we not using good?
Your trainers don't specialize in groin health.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like, what is going on? Why do we keep having all these groin issues, man? It's just something else. Like, even when Ingram was on the team before we traded him up, he had a bunch of groin issues. Alex Highsmith was going for his groin issues. You know what I mean? Like, it was something's going on with the trainer when it comes to part with that. That's just another story for another day. But god damn,
crazy, bro. So we got to talk about it. Let's go, Chase Claypool. I'll say something first.
Go ahead, brother.
From last year, I never liked Claypool because as a rookie, he ran his mouth so much. And I'm the kind of old school view as in you shouldn't be running your mouth unless you prove something. And he was good as a rookie, but that doesn't you can't be talking yet. You know what I mean? No. And then he hurt you guys the first drive of the game. He was getting rough with that corner. They were pushing each other around. Then he had to go the extra mile and point in his face mask. And then gets the flag. He gets benched for a few plays, according to Tomlin. And he goes back out there, crucial part of the game, and he's celebrating. And then the worst part of it all was then he blamed it on your offensive lineman, Trey Turner, who was trying to get the ball so they could run the play. And then he goes in the press and says, "Oh, well, people shouldn't be knocking the ball out of my hands. I knew where I was." No, you shouldn't be celebrating in a 2-minute drill. You catch the ball, you spot it, and then you get back into formation.
And you run it to the ref. That's football 101. That is football 101. When you get that ball, when you make that catch in field, and when the ball's in play, you sprint that to the ref. You spot that ball. Like, that's football 101.
That's right.
That's football. And those are little mental mistakes that we're losing, man. When it comes to when it comes to Claypool, man, just like you said, bro, like, it's just, man, like, the mental mistakes from him, bro. Like, to start off the game, like you said, bro, like, yes, like we're going, football players are going to church, talk your shit, you know what I mean? Grab, but to put your fingers into someone else's face mask, come on, man, that's a flag every time. And we were coming off hot, like, I mean, coming out hot. I really thought we were going to get the first drive touchdown. He took that away. He simply took that away from us. And honestly, in my personal opinion, if I'm Tomlin, I'm getting tired of the shit.
Yeah.
Just the week before, music at practice. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about with our record, is music at practice. That's what we're talking about. And I love Tomlin, but he like ever since last season, when we started getting on that win streak, the dancing on the logos, the TikToks, the videos, that lost. As a rookie wide receiver, that's all Claypool knows. He came into the league with that expectation that, oh, I can do this. I can dance around. He came in the league already immature. He didn't come to a system that will put him in a position to be in a tight rope. And that's not Steelers football. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
When's the last time you see Hines Ward dance on the logo?
Never, bro.
Come on, man. Man. Stuff like that, bro. Even Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace was immature as anything. He never see him do that. That's not Steelers football.
No.
AB, he did his celebrations after the touchdown.
Exactly.
After the touchdown, bro. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, bro. It's over the place with that, man. That's just another thing with our team. I just think immaturity is playing a really big part of our team. Dudes caring about their personal image more than their actual football game. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, it just blows my mind, and I'm wondering when Tomlin's gonna just be like, this isn't cutting it. I'm not allowing this. Like, I think Claypool should be benched at least for a half, just to let him know, like, listen, this is not how we operate here. You don't tell me how we practice. You don't screw up a 2-minute drill when you know. I've never even seen that before. And I watched football 20 years ago, but like what is
that? No, like, what is that? What is a 2-minute drill?
And even last year.
And I saw a thing where, like, they were getting pissed off that Eric Kendricks is the one that knocked it out his hand on that last play. It shouldn't have got to that point. Shouldn't have. When you get that ball, you took those extra 5 seconds to do your little showboat when we could have saved that 5 seconds to drop the ball down.
Yeah. It was smart on Hendricks' part because he's like, oh, they're screwing around. Okay, I'm gonna get in there and put my hand in there. So it was smart. It was smart on his. It was smart on his play, but even last year, Claypool was going on live like we're doing right now and saying, "Oh, that Browns 6 cornerback." You know, he's calling him out like, "Look how I roasted this dude." Like, who does that? Like, you're not above anybody else, and
not above no one.
I got to bring up last year when we played you guys, Trey White. You know, God bless him. Hopefully, he's on the road to recovery and he's doing well. Mm-hmm. But he came. Claypool came off the ball, and Trey White just laid him out, and I was just like, "I love you, Trey. Like, you deserve that. Like, you should be getting laid out all the time."
And I love that. That's football. Like for example, when last year Juju got rocked. I forgot it was against the Browns. He got rocked, and like. Not to say like I love seeing that because of course I don't want to see my players get rocked, but like those are the wake up calls. These teams ain't gonna let y'all walk around here talking shit about their players on like that's just you add more fuel. They already want to beat us. We're the Steelers. They already want to beat us. Don't give them more reasons to beat us.
And that's what it seemed like last year and this year. It's just like these guys just think it's like, you know, I love Tomlin too, one of the greatest coaches, but it's like I don't know what he's doing, but it's just like he's allowing it to the point where they they're just going to keep doing it, and he doesn't say nothing because it doesn't seem like Tomlin. If I was him, I'd just be like, listen, guys, I'm close to just not having you on this team. Like you're about to be out of a job.
That's not football. That's not Steelers football. Save that shit for the Raiders. Save that shit for the Eagles. You know what I mean? Save that for the hype beast teams. You know what I mean? For those type of don't bring that the Rams and all. Don't bring that to us, man. That's not Steelers football. You know what I mean? That's just not Steelers football. We never had that. We go out there, we're blue collar. You know what I mean? We're a blue collar football team. We go out there, put the work in, put our hard hats on, and handle business. We don't do that. We don't sit out here and dance on logos over here on TikTok. Like, I don't even have a TikTok, so I'm also biased towards that. I hate TikTok, so I'm biased towards it. But like, it's just immature. It's just immature from the players from a professional standpoint. We're out there to play football. We're not out there for dancing with the stars.
I couldn't say any better. And then, you know, like last year he did it on our logo, and I was just like, what made me mad was like our punter was right there watching. I'm like, bro, I would have laid his ass out.
Why would you not?
If that was me punting and you're dancing on my logo, I'm smacking you right there. I don't care if I don't care if it's pregame.
Fuck, like, yeah, no, you gonna dance on my logo? Remember what happened to who was it? Terrell Owens when he danced on the Cowboys logo? Come on, bro. Like that's the football I remember, bro. Like there's no such thing as dance. That's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful, man. So when it comes to that, shit gets personal. You have a price in your head, and that's why, like you said, White laying out Claypool, you know what I mean? Juju getting laid out, you know what I mean? It's the extra target on your back, you know what I mean? But that's why I also love Najee so much. I think that's that fresh breath of air that the Steelers need. He's a great dude. He's not involved with the bullshit. He's not involved with the childish games that they be playing with. That's why I really do love that draft pick of Najee. We need to give him an offensive line. We need to give him a line. But he's working with what he got. He goes out there, handling business as usual. He's not out there playing around, doing immature moves, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it shows in the field. It shows through his production. When you're out there producing, you know what I mean? You have a different demeanor when you're out on that field. Claypool's underwhelming this season.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand Ben's old, but to go have Juju go down and you really not progress like I personally thought you were. You're built like Megatron, but you have the personality of just a 5-year-old, man. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like I just don't understand it, bro. And his head's not in the game. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why it's production. You know what I mean? When you're so focused on after making the cash to celebrate, you're not worried about the next play, and that shows. You know what I mean? That just shows.
Absolutely. And I love Najee, actually. Like, I think he's a great back. When we played him week 1, people were talking like he was going to run all over us. And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. But I knew he was going to be a great player. I'm like, his first NFL game is going against a top defense in the league. We're still ranked number 1. But I was like, he's going to be a great player in this league. And, yesterday or Thursday, he was 20 for 94, 4.7 yards a carry with a TD. And behind that offensive line, and that first half, he didn't have any good runs. He was getting tackle for loss, and he still finished with 4.7 yards a carry. So he did outstanding. I really like him. And you remember it was a Sunday night game, I think, and that one of the announcers was like, "Yeah, he came from nothing, and when he went to Alabama, he chose to sleep on the floor instead of his bed." I'm like, there's no way he did that. Like, if he never had anything,
schools, bro.
I was like, if he never had anything, you think he'd pick a floor over a bed? I was like, hell no, that's no way that's real. And then he tweeted I never slept on no floor. What the hell?
Yeah, bro. Like, and that's how it is. Like when you look at like the NFL drafts, bro, it's like dudes get drafted 16th pick, and they tell the most drastic story, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, it's the same. Like they always do that to the young boys. They always tell these drastic stories.
Yeah, that was just crazy. I'm like, if you're gonna say something, at least say it right. Like, yeah, he may have started out homeless, but then when he went to college, he didn't choose to sleep on the floor over a bed. Like that's just
right. Yeah, come on, man. Just stretching the story, bro.
And then Najee just goes home, and that night he goes, "Oh, okay." And people are tweeting him like, "Man, I can't believe I feel bad that you slept on the floor, bro." Like, and he's like, "What? I never slept on the goddamn floor."
What are you talking about, yo?
Yeah, I don't. These guys just they say crazy stuff.
So what's your opinion? Like, what was your from watching our game? Like, what was your outlook on everything? Like, what did you think was at the end ultimately? What did you think ultimately hurt us at the end of the game? You think?
Well, judging off the first half first is just like the fact that you could, because I think when it was 24-0 and they showed the sideline looks, like you guys were done. Like you guys were like sitting there like defeated, completely out, and you're just thinking they're going to lose like 50-0. You know, they're all defeated. They don't want to go out there and play. So then
what it was looking like.
So then you at that point you're like, now we're about to see how this team is coached. We're going to see how they bounce back from this, because the game's not over. I mean, you can make it a game, and then like I said, they go out there. Tomlin gets them ready, and who knows? They could have won the game, or they could have tied because they lost by 8, right? So they could have tied the game, and it just goes to
Which
show
I also
how
thought we should have kicked that field goal. We should have kicked that field goal and went for the 2 later down the draft. That missing that 2-point extra. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's a different mentality. You know what I mean? I feel like that like missing that 2 points. You know what I mean? Just get the safe one. Then when we get that last drive, then we can figure out going for 2. But we gotta get the points as we can. But keep going. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead, bro.
No, you're good. But then it just goes to show how resilient a group of guys you are. Even when Ben had a great game, but he's not going to be the future there. So you got banged up. Juju's your number one. He's gone. Your O line is still very young. And just what you guys had to work through to get back into that game. It just shows the hard work of your team, and you should be happy going into the future. Like, you got all these young guys that truly want it, and hopefully they can get Claypool. And I mean, I don't know if Juju's going to be immature next year, but Claypool's
bring him back next year.
Yeah. Claypool's the worst one, and but even with that, you guys still crawled back into the game, and it came down to the final drive. Like I was telling you off air, 3 of our losses, we had the ball on the last drive to go to win the game. And to be in that position after you were down 29-0, that's just a well coached, and the fact that he was able to keep you guys high spirits, ready to come back into that game. I was pretty impressed with it. But when it came down to it, it's just your defense was banged up, and they were just basically doing whatever they wanted that first half, and then they made a couple good plays in the second half that ultimately was the difference. But it's just overall, though, the way you guys crawled back this season, you started off 2-4, I think, right? You beat us, and then everybody's like, the Steelers are, we thought they were going to be bad, but maybe they're good. And then you were 2-4, and then you came back. Now you're 6-5, 6-6-1 now.
Shit, man, that fucking one. Every time I hear that one, bro. Every time I hear that one, bro.
But here's the thing, though. You guys are still in it. There's 13 teams in the AFC with 6+ wins.
We still in it. We definitely still, and we still see the Ravens one more time. We still see the Browns again. So, like, I feel good. I feel good coming into this. I feel good. I definitely feel all right. I mean, we show signs of life. We definitely show signs of life. And I think the biggest thing is right now, like, our offense needs to step up because our defense is not going to do it. So I think right now at this time, like, I think Ray McCloud, he took a big leap this year. Like, coming off, my man's had 6 catches for 32 yards. Very consistent game. And that's another person who didn't put down the ball on that last 2-minute drill. You gotta hurt, like, these dudes gotta hustle, man. This is that's Pee Wee football stuff, man.
They practice that stuff drills. Always.
Yeah, man. Like that's you know what I mean? When you in the 2-minute drill, you gotta get back to the line. Don't even throw it to the ref. You know what I mean? You throw it to the ref. The ref's unathletic, man. These dudes out here, they trying to keep up with these young dudes running up and down the field. Run it to the ref and get that ball down. You know what I mean? That's just. But like with Ray, I think Ray stepping up. James Washington, who I think, like, and that's why I was kind of optimistic, like kind of skeptical about us even drafting Claypool, because I like James Washington. You know what I mean? That's a physical receiver. I see a lot of some good old school Steelers wide receivers in him. I definitely think that we should definitely give him more looks throughout the season. I think it's a shame that Juju goes down and Washington still they need to showcase what he's capable of doing.
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
rough.
He's coming through and showing us what he can do, which is so surprising because he has some great years. Like, I think I can't remember, but like 2 years ago, he had a pretty solid season. You would think that he'll be doing all right, but I don't know, man. It's definitely. I think when it comes to that, bro, like, I think I would have pulled Claypool. I think I would have pulled Claypool that first half, like you said. Like,
so you gotta set a tone and make an example.
You gotta make an example, and that's what I mean. Like, and like let the dudes that don't get that extra clock, the Rays of the world. You know what I mean? He's improving himself. How about you put him out on the edge? You know what I mean? Why don't you put him out there? So I just think that like stuff like that matters. You know what I mean? When you out there carrying yourself like that, that hurts the offense. That hurts the offense. You know, like Ben has to work for every single down now. This ain't the same Ben. You know what I mean? So we're gonna take it as we can, but just losing it from little stupid petty shit like that, that's not what we need. That's not what we need right now.
I agree. And Deante Johnson's another one. He had 5 for 76, and last year he was like just getting roasted for all of his drops and inconsistent play. But even again in our game, Levi Wallace made a beautiful defensive play. He tipped the ball. You couldn't be any closer on a defense, and then it just nice recover, and you got it, toe tapped it in. And then he's been pretty consistent this year, probably one of your best receivers. Right. And I don't know what his contracts are like if he's got more years or if he's a free agent, but I think he's a guy that I would bring back or at least re-sign.
We still got him on his rookie deal. I think we should definitely bring him back. I think I love his progression, but he definitely had a couple drops this last game. I mean, the one that they tried to say was kind of Ben's off throw, but I still think Deante, with his ability, he should have caught that. I think he had a couple drops that last game that I don't think they count towards him, but I think he could have caught that. But Deante's progression through this season, to come from the most drops to only have, I think it was one drop at by week 11 or 12, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. It shows his work, and that's what I mean. And it shows the difference. Is he out there showboating when he gets on the two? You know what I mean? Is he out there doing that stupid shit? He's not.
Nope.
He's not. You know what I mean? And he's not. He's nowhere close built to Claypool. Physically, Claypool's physically built better than Deante. I think Claypool's physically fit than a lot of wide receivers in the league.
Yeah.
But it comes to the fact that he just doesn't have that mental state. He doesn't have that mental state to, play the game, the little things. You can make the big plays, but you gotta do the little things. You gotta do the little things.
Yeah, the physicality of it doesn't matter when you're hurting your team and when you're acting like a 2-year-old on the field, when you got to be acting like a man on the field. Correct. And when we're looking at the playoff picture, you guys, I think you're the 9th team now, 6-1. The Colts are the 8th team, 7-6, and then we're the last team in the playoffs right now. And we lost to both of you. So looking at the rest of your games, are you confident that you can make the playoffs, or at least hope that we got to hope that this team loses, or how do you feel about your chances of getting in?
And this is just me being honest, being an honest fan. You know what I mean? Because I think us making the playoffs and us not making it has both its positives, in my personal opinion. This is a strong draft class coming in. This is a very strong quarterback class coming in. I see a good 5 quarterbacks leaving the first round, maybe 4. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the problems why we could never get that successor to Ben, because we always end up, in the higher 20s. You know what I mean? Ain't no one, even though we should have got Lamar Jackson as back then. Pick went right past us. You know what I mean? Imagine him sitting behind Ben, working on that arm, and that's just a nerd. I don't even want to talk about it. But so I think when it comes to it, man, I think there's also process when not making the players, but also it's uphill battle. You know what I mean? We're gonna need a couple games to go. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but we're gonna need a couple games to go our way. You know what I mean? There's definitely gonna have to look at it that way. We're not overly on paper. We're not the best offensive line. We're not the best. So when it comes to the trenches move, we gotta be able to stop the run. We can't have, we can't have these rushers going over 100 yards a game on us, man. We can't do that. That's not Steelers football, man. 30th in the rush, 24 points allowed, 27 total defense, man. That
doesn't sound the way when you say that. I'm just like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense.
That's not Steelers football.
No,
that's not Steelers football, man. And that's the only thing. So when it comes down to it, we need our offense needs to step up. And when our offense, like I said, we simply put, we gotta win the trench battle, and we're not winning trench battles on the defensive end or the offensive end, and that's the only thing that worries me. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that worries me. Only thing that worries me, man.
I say that every week on my pregame shows. It starts up front. You can't move if the O-line doesn't get pushed, and you get moved if the other team's O-line gets pushed. And people, not to get off the Steelers quite yet, but
good thing, man. Mm-hmm.
But when we're talking about the line, a lot of media heads out there and people that watch football, like Patriot fans or whatever kind of fans, they look at Allen and they're like, oh, like Skip Bayless, he said, oh, Allen's not that guy. And then it's like, I can't name one quarterback in the league that could have thrown the ball the way he did in that 55-mile-an-hour wind. I don't know one guy who could have made those passes. He didn't get any help by his receivers. He didn't get any help by his O-line. He's maybe 2 games this year where the O-line was decent enough. And you look at old stats from last year, he hasn't been pressured as much, but he's getting pressured at the worst times. He's getting pressured when he needs to have a clean pocket to get a play developed. Like that play they mentioned, if he just kept his head up for one more second, he had Diggs wide open in the middle. Well, he couldn't because he had 3 people in his face, and he had to stiff arm Deatrick Wise and get by 2 other people. And then he made a beautiful pass in the end zone to Dawson Knox, and he dropped it. So it's just
that was a bad game. If you're talking about the same game I'm talking about, that Dawson Knox game, man. Oh,
yeah, the Patriots one. Yeah,
the Patriots. Yeah, man. Like when conditions and all, Doc's got to get those, man. Doc's got. I mean, it's. I don't know, man. To have such a good year, that was supposed to be his game, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That's just one that one hurt. I know that had to hurt as a Bills fan, man.
He's had a phenomenal year, and the way I was looking at it was, I understand Allen had some missed throws, but the thing was, if Allen has to throw the ball 100 miles an hour to cut the wind and make a perfect pass, and he has to do all these adjustments, everyone else has to also. So people were trying to say, well, yeah, the receivers dropped some passes, but Allen missed some throws. Yeah, he missed some throws, but the passes that they dropped were perfect throws without anything wrong. Like, yeah, that Diggs catch, it sailed in the air a little bit, but he hit him in the forearm, hit him right here. You couldn't have thrown it any better. And, if one of those plays are connected, we're talking about, Josh Allen got it done. Bill Belichick's an idiot for running the ball 45 times in a row. And it's a whole different conversation. We'll get into that when we talk more Bills. But what I was trying to say was, it all starts up front, and to have your O-line just crumble at key situations and all the time, it's just crazy that people don't view that. They try to blame it all on quarterbacks. But
talking about the O-line, that's why I got the Pouncey jersey on now, because
Right.
Like I missed that. I missed, and that's like Villanueva, man. That's that losing him, that hurt. Like last season, it did hurt not having, like, it did hurt having him as well. But damn, dog, like, just the original key pieces, man. We don't have leadership out in there. Like when Trey Turner's our leader on the line, that hurts, man.
Yeah, it is hard when you got things going on like that. All right, another Army buddy Daniel said, "Go boys, let's talk some NFC talk on the show." Yeah, we're gonna get into that too. We're gonna get into some NFC teams also. We're going to wrap up the Steelers shortly. But thanks for coming in, bro. Appreciate the love. And but yeah, you want to wrap up on the Steelers? You said you feel you got to hope for people to lose, and you got to have a couple games go your way. And I think, thinking about it, Tomlin hasn't had a losing season. That one tiebreaker might have helped them. It may have helped.
That's what I mean. It's gonna. I'll tell you this. I'll take that tie instead of a loss. You know what I mean? I'm happy. I'm happy I lost to the Vikings and not the goddamn Lions, man. Unlike the Vikings did. You know what I mean?
That's right. I hear that. But yeah, that was awesome. 38 minutes talking about the Steelers. You gave a lot of good information, and you did great talking about the Steelers, man. And I learned some things from you too, and I'm sure the viewers did. And we're going to talk about some Bills. We're going to little bit recap the Bills-Patriots game, because I want to move on from that. I've been moved on from it. But there's some things I got to talk about. The internet is – stay off the internet when you're a Bills fan and you lose. We all know that. But so people were saying, like, Sean McDermott was pretty animated on the sidelines that game. However, what good coach – doesn't defend his players? What good coach doesn't get in the ref's ass and start yelling during a big game? Bill Belichick does it all the time. We made Bill Belichick throw a phone against the wall last year when we were beating them 40-9. So these Patriot fans that came out of the woodworks after half of them left the Patriot fandom to go to Tampa Bay last year, now they're all back because they're on a winning streak. They're calling out Sean McDermott, saying he's a salty, terrible coach, no class, just a terrible person. I'm just like, he cares about his team. He was sticking up for Josh Allen when he got hit late. He was out of bounds and he reached over to get the first down, and then he got pushed. Then he got hit. And the funny thing was they act like he could go out. He was already out of bounds, and they act like he could jump back in bounds if he wasn't hit. And that's not how it is. That's a late hit all day. And then
Easily.
they were like, "Oh, Sean McDermott's just screaming his head off at the refs after that. Like that was the stupidest call I've ever heard." And then McDermott has his issues, but he brought us out of the drought. We didn't make the playoffs for over 20 years, or we didn't win a playoff game for 20 years or 25 years. And then 3 out of the 4 seasons, he brought us to the playoffs, brought us to the AFC Championship game. He built a terrible, terrible team into playoff caliber the next year. So to say he got, they're like, oh, he got out-coached and outclassed by Belichick. And he said it in his press conference. Let's not give Bill Belichick more credit than what's due. I was in the red zone 4 times. He was in the red zone once. He didn't score in the red zone. I scored once. If you tell me in the beginning of the game, you're going to have 4 red zone trips, they have 1, and you're going to start at the 40 every time, and they're going to start at the opposite 23, I like my chances. So what he's saying
you agree with that statement?
No, yeah. He wasn't talking bad about Belichick. He just said, we had every opportunity to win this game, even by multiple scores, and we didn't do it. It's not what he did better than me. It's about we didn't execute when we needed to. And there's some truth to that too, because if you connect on that Diggs, like we said, if you connect on that Diggs touchdown at 17-14, and the media is saying, oh, Bill Belichick is stupid for not passing the ball. Why did he run the ball 50 times in the game? But because they won, now they're talking Bill Belichick's a genius because he beat Sean McDermott by just running the ball. But one play in that red zone, Dawson Knox catches that ball, then it's different. Then you're not talking about Bill Belichick, Howard. And we all know he's the greatest coach of all time. But what Sean McDermott was trying to say was it wasn't about playing Bill Belichick in that game. He could have been playing Mike Tomlin. He could have been playing Cliff Kingsbury. It doesn't matter who it was. It could have been the Texans coach. I forgot his name because he's just terrible. But you have the opportunities, 4 red zone opportunities. They have 1, and you lose the game. That wasn't because you were out-coached necessarily. It was because you killed yourself. You shot yourself in the foot. Our last drive, Dawson Knox gets a false start, and then he drops a pass in the end zone. Then it's 4th and 14 to lose the game. Like, that's not how it should have went. We had every opportunity, and it's just it was a hard loss because I knew how it would be afterwards. We know the media, we knew the Pats were on a 6-game win streak, how they were going to talk it. And now we're back to being the, same old Bills as the media calls it. But they forget it's a week-to-week league. The better team doesn't always win.
Any given Sunday.
That's right.
Any given Sunday, man.
And I live by that. And it holds true a lot this year, considering look at the AFC. The top seed has 4 losses. Last year we were 13-3. We would have won. We would have got the 1 seed if the same thing was happening last year. But now the year that we're not 13-3, now everybody wants to lose 4 to 5 games, 4 or 5, 6 games in the conference. But that game just came down to it was bad execution at times. The receivers didn't help Allen out. Allen played a fantastic game. Yeah, he was 50% completion, but there was 5 drops that were in both hands of a receiver. So the percentage would have went up. He threw a touchdown. He didn't throw a pick, and he threw the ball great in that wind. Like I said, I can't find one quarterback that would have had the arm strength and the talent to even Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if he would have cut through that wind, 55-mile-an-hour gust. That's bad. That's hard to play in, dude. And he was doing it, and the coaches just wanted to continue to run the ball up the middle. I mentioned how the Patriots D tackle had 10 tackles. He led the team. There's no way a D tackle in the NFL should be leading your team in tackles. All that showed was how terribly boring our run game is, and all you do is run up the middle every time. And Zach Moss and Devin Singletary.
Where was the jet sweeps? You know what I mean? Where's the talk? Like if I'm getting anyone, because right now, man, like Zach Moss is the biggest disappointment. I mean, like, god damn, bro. And Singletary, then it's sad when you got Matt Breida out there looking better than both of your young guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm getting the ball. I'm letting if I'm the Bills, bro, I'm letting Diggs get some jet sweeps. I'm letting Cole Beasley get some jet sweeps. You know what I mean? I'm getting dudes active because at this point, your running game's just not going to do it. Your running game is just not going to do it, man. It's just simply put. It's just going to be in Josh. When Josh Allen's your best, I told you this on the phone the other day. You know what I mean? When it comes to all around rushing, I would rather have Josh Allen get 12 carries a game than see Zach Moss Devin Singletary or goddamn Matt Breida get 12 carries.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm personally feeling. And I don't even like rushing quarterbacks because, like, you know, it's delicate out there.
Trust and believe. We don't want, no one in Bills Mafia wants that either. But up until last game, Daboll draws up a ton of design runs for Josh Allen. Against the Saints, Correct. He had like 7 design runs in a dome when we didn't need him to do that. And then we're like, okay, we're probably going to see a little bit of Josh Allen run the ball because, you know, we gotta use his advantage, you know, because our run game is kind of weak. Not one design run. All of his runs were pockets being collapsed and he had to avoid pressure. And then we're just sitting there like, why? You know that we needed him and you didn't design a run for him one time. And then the times he runs on his own, he got 20-yard run there, a 10-yard run there. Mm-hmm. And then now you don't want to call design runs. We've been telling you no all year. And then now you think this is the perfect game to do it when this is the actual game you needed it. And we don't have – Matt Breida's good. I love Singletary. And Moss, he's a power back that doesn't have power. He's shown it a couple times, but he's not that power back. And all they do, they run up the middle. Our weakest part of our O-line is the interior, and they run up the A-gap all the time. They're just not going to do anything with these backs. We have speed and finesse. You get Singletary's turned up. I know he hasn't had his best year, but on his runs, he turns nothing into something. He's got that second gear that, he gets hit behind the line, but he'll get 3 yards out of it. So instead of being a 4-yard loss, it's a 3-yard gain. And I love that from him. But we don't have the O-line personnel or the running back personnel to run power up the middle. Yeah. We need tosses. We need, like you said, jet sweeps and end arounds. In that Jets game, after we lost to the Colts, we thought, we got jet sweeps going. We got end arounds with Emmanuel Sanders. We're doing misdirections and counters, and we're doing all this different stuff. Mm-hmm. Maybe Daboll's finally back, and we're going to get back on track. I know this was before the Colts game, I believe, but that wasn't how it was. Then he stopped doing it. It's just so inconsistent, and they're really trying to force a run this year. When last year we passed majority of the time, and it worked. And even though people knew we were going to pass, they're like, "Oh, we're going to pass anyway." And then we put up 30 on everybody. We were 13-3. Now they're like, if we want to win a Super Bowl, we got to establish a run game. Yeah, you need a run game, but don't take away from what you do. Don't take away your play action and your pre-snap motion and all this stuff that you did last year. And sometimes this year that worked. And then just be like, okay, we're going to run dive up the middle every play. And then we're going to run plays that take 5 seconds to develop. And then he gets smashed every time. And we have no O-line. So I think the longer developing plays, we'll use that. And, It's just super inconsistent. But that being said, we're still that team that went to the AFC Championship last year. We have better personnel. We have great coaching. And
losing White hurts though, dog.
Yeah, it does hurt. And we're gonna feel that this week. But you got to rise up. When you look at Jair Alexander, he was hurt. The Packers are 9-3. They stepped up. They filled up around him and took absorbed that blow and played better. White, he's a top 3 corner in this league, and it's going to hurt not having him. But we still got elite safety. We have the 2 best safeties in the league, Micah Hyde,
and that's what I was about to say. Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's up for debate at this point. But
the best duo in the league. No, I think it's not even close. The best safety duo in the league, and that's why losing White hurts. But when you got help in the back like that, it should be no problem because y'all just gonna it's gonna be an interesting game against the Bucks, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. And like I said in my pregame show, it's more of what offensive line are we gonna get? Because this game could either be 41-40 or it could be 40-10. If Josh Allen doesn't have more than 1 second to get the ball out, it's not going to be a fun game for us. Because the Bucs offensive line is going to hold up for Tom, and Tom's going to make all the right throws. But if Josh Allen drops back to pass and he's got Shaq Barrett here, Vita Vea here, and Dominic Sue here, and JPP on the other side, and he's like, oh crap, no, he's not going to escape the pocket like he normally does because you got White who runs a 4.4. You got all these people that are fast. Like even Vita Vea runs a 5 and he's 350 pounds. So it's not going to be a fun day.
Interior lineman, one of the best interior, bro. One of the best, bro.
He's outstanding. And if our line even blocks for 2 seconds, all we need to do then is let Josh be Josh and not try to force a run up the middle. You got
That should be the game script.
When Cole Beasley's getting 10 targets a game, he's a chain mover. And then a couple games he gets 1 target, 2 targets. He should be a reliable source. He's always open. Just throw him the ball. And then I don't understand Deante Adams. He's the only good receiver on that team. I don't care what anybody. Yeah, Lazard's decent and everything, but he's the only good receiver on that team. He gets doubled. He gets bracketed. The floor draws up plays for him to get open every time. Why can't Brian Dable design plays to get Diggs open every time? Why is Diggs not getting 15 targets a game? He's that alpha dog. He's that dude that will moss you. He's that dude he has one of the best route running trees in the league. He's got hands. He's physical. And why is he not getting plays drawn up for him to get open? And we got so many weapons. You got Dawson Knox. You got Gabe Davis. You got Emmanuel Sanders. You got Cole Beasley. You got Stephon Diggs. Like, who could say they got all these weapons? Yeah, the Bucks got a lot of weapons, but with our offense, we shouldn't be scoring 10 points in a game. We shouldn't be scoring 6 against the Jags. That's all. That's all on coaching, and in all the games that we lost, the same thing remains true: is no blocking up front and just getting smacked in the trenches. And people don't think that matters, and it's the key to every game.
That's the tone. And that's what I mean when it comes. I look at the Patriots game. They literally won because they won in the trenches. They won that game simply because of the trenches. They didn't go out, like you said, Mac Jones only threw 2 to 3 times. They ran the ball 40 plus times. When you win the trenches, you win. When your defensive tackle, like you said, gets over 10 tackles, that sets the tone. That alone sets the tone. When your D tackle is the leading tackler, that sets the tone for the line. Simply put, that sets the tone, man. And like looking at this game for y'all this week, man. I mean, you guys are going against the 20th. Like when it comes to the pass, Bucks are 20th when it comes to pass defense.
Yeah,
Bills is number 1 statistically passing offense in the league. If I'm McDermott, like I told you earlier, bro. If I'm McDermott, I'm pulling Josh Allen to the side. I'm like, look, like let's go ahead and get you them MVP votes this game. Let's make this the game where when it comes down to the end of the season, they're looking at highlights. They're like, well, Josh Allen did put up some numbers against the Bucks. This is the game that they should unleash him. This is the game that they should really show the league what you guys are capable of.
I agree,
and that's our game.
That's true. Where we could take advantage of them is that secondary because they got Antoine Winfield and Sherman's coming back. They got some good players, but this is our strength of our team is airing the ball out. We have a quarterback with a once in a generation arm who's absolutely incredible. Who's a top 5 quarterback. He's elite. And at this point, if people could sit here and tell me that he's not elite right now, he's not a top 5 quarterback, that just goes beyond. It's just delusion at this point.
They're Sims. Simply put, they're Sims, bro. Yeah, man.
And here's the thing. This is gonna, like I said in my pregame, also playing the Bucks is gonna force us to do what we're good at because there should be no reason why we run the ball more than 8 times on tomorrow. Because even if you do run, you're not gonna get anything good on them. They got the best run defense. They got monsters and ballers on that defense. So if we're not throwing 50 times a game like the Cowboys did, that's a coaching failure. And the other thing different, like you said, McDermott should pull him aside and say, "Hey, this is your game." They did that all last year. 4th and 2s, 4th and 5, 4th and 7. Stay on the field, Josh. Get the first down. They still instill that confidence in we trust you guys to win on offense. But now this year they're like, 4th and 2 at the 40. Now I'll come back. We're gonna kick a field goal. Oh, like when I went to the Texans game, we won 40-0. They were getting booed when they were deciding for field goals in the red zone. We were booing them because why would you call a field goal when you're playing against this team when you could get a touchdown right here?
We got arguably the best quarterback in the league.
Yep, you can afford not to get a field goal here. You're playing the Texans. You're winning 13-0 right now, and they haven't gotten past the 50. You can go for a touchdown here. So McDermott was getting booed a lot because he was going for field goals instead of touchdowns. When last year he would be aggressive because last year our defense wasn't what it is now. We had a little bit of a setback last year, but like you said, Steelers football is trenches. Bills football was always defense. Even in our drought years, we had a top defense, but they were on the field 75% of the game, so they were just getting beat a lot. But that's what stresses me out this year is why did coach go from really trusting our team to being like more conservative and scared. And he's aggressive sometimes, but it's at the wrong time. And
Correct.
sometimes
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
All right. Looking future 4th seed, right? Is McDermott on the hot seat, in your opinion?
No.
Should he be on the hot seat?
No, he shouldn't be on the hot seat. It's more of if anyone's on the hot seat, it's Dayball, but they got him and Leslie Frazier got head coach opportunities. But we got to look at the problem with this year is the world and the fans, after going 13-3 in AFC Championship, put the expectation out of better than that, and that would mean we have to be 14-3 this year, and we could have been, but it's football. It's week to week. We all know that. You can't just expect that, and then when we're 7-5, think that it's just a complete failure every year, because we can finish off 12-5, 11-6, and win the Super Bowl. Nobody knows. Nobody can see that yet. Yeah, we could miss the playoffs, but we might not. A lot of Bills Mafia is already counting out this rest of the season. They're like, oh, we're going to lose Sunday, and then that's it. But all that matters is getting hot at the right time, and we have a team that if they get hot, I wouldn't want to play us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't think McDermott's on the hot seat.
Come on, Lilo.
Leave my girl alone.
Sorry, man. Yeah, you know she. Come here, Lilo. Come here, baby. The Steelers mascot right here.
The only thing I will say about McDermott, there seems to be a coaching disconnect this year, where he's vocally said, we got to be able to establish the run. And then we call these run plays that never work. And then I'm just thinking, is the offensive coordinator trying to just set a tone and be like, listen, I'm just going to run the ball up the middle every time and prove to you that running ball doesn't work. But then I don't think he would put us in that situation, or else I don't think Dayball would do that. But McDermott wants this. It seems Dayball wants this. They're not budging, and then they go out and say, "Yeah, we know where. I understand what coach wants, and we both have the same understanding of what this offense needs to be. This offense needs to be what it was last year. Throw the ball, and dare people to defend it, because everyone knew we were going to pass last year, and it didn't matter. We got the weapons where it doesn't matter, and." But I think if we miss the playoffs, he might be on the hot seat, or at least it'll be depending on next year. He just signed a big contract, so it'll be hard to tell if we miss the playoffs this year, and then next year we come back and then go 14-3 or 13-4, and then we make it to the Super Bowl or whatever. Then he's not, but it all depends on what happens the rest of the season and then next year. But we got a great coaching staff. I love Brandon Beane. He's our GM. He's fantastic. He's missed some things, but he's also hit on so much. Leslie Frazier's one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. He doesn't get enough credit. And Dayball calls great games, but he's so inconsistent.
Frazier's doing well with the defense he got. With the injuries that he had in and out the lineups all season, he's doing the best he got defensively. I can't complain more. You know what I mean?
We're still ranked number one. We're still the ranked number one defense. And I truly believe that. It doesn't matter who we played, because this is the NFL. Every team's got talent. They're the best players in the world. So people try to say, oh, who'd they play? The Patriots beat them, but who'd they play? They ignore the Chiefs game because they use the excuse, well, the Chiefs weren't good when we played them. But they were. They were the same team they are right now. They just won.
Right.
It's just funny how the narrative spread. But getting into this game, we got the Bucks coming up. We got the GOAT, Tom Brady, who's 34-3 against us in his career, defending Super Bowl champs. They got dudes like Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronkowski, Lenny Fournette. They got all those defensive studs. They got that great offensive line. And when you look into it after losing to the Pats, I can see where people are just like, oh, man, it's disappointing. Like, we got to go play this team now. But
you look at the circumstances, man. You didn't get a fair chance with the circumstances. If that was a sunny day in Buffalo, man, I would have had y'all winning. Like, simply put, it's just the fact. If I would have known it was going to be,
because Allen was able to throw the ball great. They just,
but the wind was bringing it was definitely. Allen is who he is because he's used to that conditions anyway. And like I said, there's only a few quarterbacks I'm trusting in that situation with the weather like that. So there's only a few people, and Josh Allen is in that group. You know what I mean? We're looking at Patrick Mahomes. I'm looking at Tom Brady. I'm looking at Josh Allen. Probably the only three. Aaron Rodgers. Only 4 or 5 quarterbacks I can't even think of. Probably those three. Some other people that I can think that can be in that conditions. So I think if that was a non-windy day, like a regular day in Buffalo, cold, whatever, I think y'all would have. I really think y'all would have tested their defensive backs. J.C. Jackson got lucky. I mean, I'm gonna respect his game, but he got lucky. He got lucky. Lucky the conditions were the way they were, man. And like you said, Stephon had a couple brain without, like you said, that one touchdown. He should have had that. He should have had that.
The other one, bro, was the corner in the right corner of the end zone. Allen threw it on the back shoulder of Diggs. He beat Jackson, but then you could see it. He threw it, and then it was going right at Diggs, and it just goes like this, and then it sailed out of bounds. So like Diggs beat Jackson on that one, and he beat Jackson on that 45-yard bomb. So even with the weather, we still could have put up 24-14 in a game that was terrible weather. So, weather was affecting it, but even with the weather, that was our game to win, and we had the chance to win it, and we let it go. But this is a perfect opportunity because it's going to be beautiful in Tampa. We love to air the ball out. We got dogs at the receiving core. We got Dawson Knox, who's set the franchise record for touchdowns by a Buffalo Bill, 7 touchdowns. He's tied with the league lead for tight ends for touchdowns. And, the defense has played, besides the Colts game, they've shown up every time. They're balling. They're number one for a reason. So I'm pretty confident in this game. But the main question mark is what coaching staff are we going to get and what offensive line are we going to get? And if we get an offensive line that can be decent, then Allen could go toe-to-toe with Brady in a shootout in this situation. With our backs against the wall, if we lose tomorrow, and the Colts are on a bye, but it doesn't matter. So if we lose tomorrow and we go to 7-6, the Colts start in the 7th seed, and we're on the outside looking in. So our backs are against the wall now, and you put an animal in the corner, it's going to fight back. So we're in that mode now where we dropped 5 games, probably could have won 3 of them at least, and these guys understand the urgency right now. So we need to see a team that's fighting for their life. We need to see a team that plays what they do well, because the coaching staff has been holding them back. Like I said, running the ball up the middle with Zach Moss 10 times for 21 yards doesn't help our team. Throwing with Josh Allen 45 times will help our team because he's your best player.
Correct.
You got like what the Ravens do with Lamar. Lamar's their best player. He runs the ball. He throws the ball.
You play to your strengths. You play your QB strengths, and I feel like, and that's just not right now. That's not your identity. Going through Zach Moss and Devin Singletary is not your identity right now. That shouldn't be your identity. Like you said, like I think, and there's a difference, and that becomes the difference when it comes to these certain. And that's the my only thing about your offense right now, and that's just my personal opinion. Is like you look at Tom Brady. Arians is letting Tom Brady do what he needs to do. Andy Reid is letting Patrick, even though Patrick Mahomes is not having the best year, he's still out there doing what he does. You know what I mean? There shouldn't be a leash on certain quarterbacks. Matt LaFleur learned that from last year. You don't put a leash on certain quarterbacks. You let them do what they need to do. So and looking at Mcdermott, like I mean, I'm just like I said, like where Allen goes is where y'all go. You know what I mean? Y'all defense is going to do what y'all do. Defense is going to get y'all offense where it needs to be. Simply put, you guys have the best safety core. I think personally the best linebacker core. And I'm a big fan of Ed Oliver and Gregory down there in the trenches. So I mean, like your team is doing what it needs to do. I'm just when it comes to offensively, you know what I mean? I'm giving honestly, like I said, I'm giving Josh Allen 10 rushes before Zach Moss.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that.
Or 5 passes from Josh Allen, or 5 rushes. That's wasted possessions. He's not going to get y'all nowhere. He's just not going to get y'all. Like Devin Singletary, he's a good pace back. I say y'all should just roll with Devin Singletary and Breida going forward, because that's just power running is just not your MO right now. It's just not your MO.
There was no reason to have Moss active in that game. And the other thing, a lot of Bills Mafia, they talk down on our defensive line. They say, "Oh, we pay him this much money, and we're not getting sacks." A lot of people think it's just sack production is all that matters in a defensive lineman. But I saw this tweet today. It says the Bills are first in the NFL in the pressure rate of 30.5%. Bucks are first in the NFL in protection rate at 88.8%. So you got the best pressure team against the best protection team, and a lot of how our secondary is so not taking it away from them, but what makes the secondary so great, part of it is the pressure up front. If you get pressure up front, you give your elite secondary opportunities to get picks. And if your secondary is playing elite, then you get coverage sacks. And we do a great job. The other thing is people don't get, we don't have a defensive line where these players play, like Micah Parsons plays the whole game, and he's outstanding. I love Micah Parsons, and I wanted him in the draft. But Greg Rousseau plays like 30% of the snaps. How's he going to get 12 sacks in a season? You know what I mean? Ed Oliver plays 40% of the snaps. And that's
scared to unleash. I think it's also the age, because I think you'll understand. Like, he's very young. I think he was the youngest prospect in the draft this year from Miami. I'm pretty sure he was the youngest. Pretty sure he was the youngest coming out. So I understand, warming him up to it. He's raw talent. That's why I'm like, he's a monster hitter. Like, I mean, if you're in his reach, you're getting laid out. Like, he
plays beautiful contain.
Beautiful. So when it comes to that, I understand not unleashing him fully, only giving his under 40% of snaps, but I don't know. I think when it comes to them, that's the difference maker. You know what I mean? He can wake. He's one of those players. There's one of those impact players where he can get that boost up. You know what I mean? He gets a big tackle for loss. That just all of a sudden he's just that energy bringer. He brings that energy every single play, and that's the only thing about that, in my personal opinion. I thought, in my personal opinion, I thought he was better than Micah Parsons going in before college last year. But of course, things change. But and I think y'all got to steal with him, getting him that late in the first place. Because I thought he was a top 10 talent on my draft board. Easily top 10 talent on my draft board.
I agree, and I love Rousseau, and I'm glad we got him. But what I was really saying was, a lot of people are mad about sack numbers, but they don't understand that they might not, Rousseau might play 50% of the snaps, but he might not be doing majority of the rushing snaps. He might get 2 rushes a game.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's you can't really judge the sack numbers and how well they've been playing. Ed Oliver's been a monster. I mean, last game he was quiet. You can't lie, he was quiet, but he's been what you expect from a 9th overall pick. I love Ed Oliver. He's a star, and he's gonna be a star. And we do got great defensive line talent. It's just people need to understand that they're not getting as much opportunities as other people in the NFL. You can't get 15, 16 sacks a year like TJ Watt when you're playing 30% of the snaps. Unless every snap you get a sack. You know what I mean? It's more than just sacks, everybody. It's pressures. It's wreaking havoc in the backfield. It's run stops. It's a lot of it is defensive line, and we got a great future. We got the one thing I don't like about not giving reps was AJ Epinesa. We drafted him in our second round, our first pick 2 years last year, and he came in at 280. They made him lose weight, and he's 250, 260 right now, and he's quick as hell, but he doesn't get a lot of snaps. They give him some, and he does well, and then sometimes he doesn't, and then it's just he's not developing because you need game time. Boogie Basham, I love Boogie. He's almost inactive every game, but when he plays, he makes plays. So I'm sitting here every week oh, Boogie's inactive again. I don't understand. Last week he had a sack. Last week he had 5 tackles and a sack and a tackle for a loss. Why is he not getting more game reps? So that's the only thing with me is the coach has got to. There's only so much you can do in practice. You got to be able to get in game reps to get better. So I felt they wasted AJ Epinesa last year in his development, and they're wasting Boogie Basham this year by making him inactive almost every game. But I'm happy Rousseau's starting. I'm happy Rousseau's coming into his own, especially after taking a year off last year from COVID. But we got a great defense. We got a great defense as a whole. So I know we're not going to shut down Tom Brady, but
let's not forget Espinosa was one of the top defensive players in college. He was that defensive player for his. I'm pretty sure he was defensive player of the year for his conference. I'm 95% sure. So
and even
definitely, I think he definitely deserves his love. Definitely deserves his love when it comes out. He needs to get some more. He needs to get up to get some more snaps out there.
Yep, and I know there's been games where he hasn't done much, but even after losing 30 pounds, he still hits like a truck. So he's just a great electric energy to have on the team. And when I look at this defense going against Tom Brady, you're not gonna shut out Tom Brady. You're not gonna bother him. He'll get pressure, but he knows what to do. He's the greatest of all time for a reason. He's been in the league for 22 years. I'm 26 years old, and Tom Brady's almost played my whole life. So it's just crazy to me how he's been doing it. But if he's getting pressure, they're going to do quick throws, or they're going to do draws, or they're going to run. So the main thing we got to do is play mistake-free football. You got to help Dane Jackson. You got to help Levi Wallace because Trey White takes away one guy all the time. So now you got Dane Jackson, who's pretty good. You probably know him from Pitt, and going against like Mike Evans. You know what I mean? So this is his first actual start because he started last week, but they passed 3 times. So he's going to get tested for sure, and Brady knows that. And Levi Wallace already said that. He said, when first time I played Brady, they threw at me like 12 times. So he told Dane Jackson, just be ready because they're going to go for you just as much as me this week. So, and Levi Wallace was great. But when you got Trey White, it takes away a side of the field every time. And, so it's going to be it's a big challenge, but as much as Tampa Bay is great and I respect their game and their players, we still got a great team too, and people need to respect us. And
100%, 100%. Your record doesn't reflect. Your record definitely does not reflect your team. I don't want no one else to get that confused. Ain't no way possible people can get that confused. Your record does not reflect what your team actually are. There's no way possible. On paper, you guys are top 3, no bullshit, top 3 in the AFC, and that's no question.
Yeah,
and that's no question.
And we could turn it around for sure. And like I said, I like this matchup because if we get a little bit of time, Allen can throw in the secondary. We got the receivers on this team that can make something happen. And I could see this being like a fantastic game, like a huge shootout. And like I said, it could be 41-40, or it could be 40-10. We could get smacked if we don't get the great protection, because if you can't throw the ball, you can't move, you can't protect, we're not going to score. It doesn't matter how great Josh Allen is or how much you paid him. Doesn't matter how great Stephon Diggs is. If Allen hikes the ball and he's got 3 people in his face in less than a second, then it's not going to be a great game for us. So it always got. It's going
to come down to your defensive line too, because when I look at the Bucks, yes, Brady has he has Chris Godwin. Shout Delaware, Middletown High School, Delaware, what I'm talking about. Shout Godwin, Bill, what's up, boy? Mike Evans, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to those two, yes, he has those weapons, but I think the biggest factor on this offense is Leonard Fournette right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy I'm saying this. I want Tom Brady to pass the ball 30 times, 40 times. If you take away that run game, because right now Leonard Fournette is on a fucking roll.
Yeah.
He is rolling right now. Rolling. I mean, like, my wife has him on her fantasy team, and this man's just over here cooking up, making sure she about to win the fantasy championship and shit. So you take away that run game, make Brady pass the ball. You know what I mean? Like, not to say put that trust in Levi Wallace, but I mean, he's gonna have to do his thing. Because you know what I mean? If I would rather have Brady throw it 35 times than have Leonard Fournette have 130 yards on 20 rushes with 2 TDs and some catches in the backfield. You know what I mean? That's when it all is going to come back down to. I think y'all shut down Leonard Fournette. Y'all guys are going to have him mentally. Make him pass the ball. Test Mike Evans. Make Chris Godwin beat you on those Superman plays. Make Mike Evans do that one. Like, you know what I mean? I'm trusting that before I'm letting Leonard Fournette run up and down the field, because he's on the roll right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point, man, to be honest, because I was thinking, what do I think the Bucs are going to do after they saw this game against the Patriots, after they saw Jonathan Taylor? I could see them running the ball a lot more than they would normally. But then you think, like, well, maybe Tom will want to try to tear apart this secondary. And I think I like that option better, because what if you throw at Dane Jackson 10 times, he gets a pick? He could get a pick 6. Like, Tom Brady's, just like Josh Allen, they've thrown 10 picks this year. Mahomes threw 12 picks.
Exactly.
These elite quarterbacks are getting picked more because they're trying to make those plays, and that's okay. Like, People try. Oh, Allen threw 10 picks. He threw 8 picks last year.
I don't care if Allen gets 16 picks, 17 picks this season. That's Josh motherfucking Allen.
Yeah.
And he has the people weren't saying that when Peyton Manning threw 20 interceptions in the season, like something crazy, man. Like there's certain quarterbacks that get a pass. Brett Favre was an interception king. Like I mean, every game it was like, oh, there's another one. But at the end of the day, these certain dudes get a pass. You know what I mean? Like these guys ain't Blaine Gabbert out here. You know what I mean? These dudes earned their name. They earned their respect. They have the green light to have that. And that's why it comes down to McDermott. I think McDermott's because Josh Allen does have his turnover problems. He hasn't shown it this year, but I think that's why McDermott's playing so conservative some games when it comes to that because he's worried about Josh Allen having those type of games. But you gotta give him the green light. And this is one of those games where I'm saying you gotta give him the green light. Let it be a shootout. Stop the run. Don't let the offensive line feel confident they can run the ball down your throat the whole game. Take that away from them early on. You know what I mean? Shut the backfield down. Make them want to bring Ronald Jones in because they think Leonard Fournette's falling off. You know what I mean? That's the kind of tone you guys gotta set, and that's Buffalo Bills football right there. Yeah. You guys gotta go down there, let the quarterback do his thing, win the trenches defensively. And just let Tom Brady's gonna do his thing. Simply put, there's only so much you can do with him.
Can't ignore it.
Those mistakes, you gotta capitalize on the mistakes that do happen.
I agree. And you mentioned the defensive line being a huge factor, and I also agree. But who I'm really looking at is my man Matt Milano and my other man Tremaine Edmonds. I love both of them. Tremaine
Shout out to the Edmonds brother. Shout out to the Edmond brothers.
Yeah. People forget.
I wish we got him though. I wish we got yours, but
yeah, I bet you do. But people look at Tremaine, they call him the Predator because he's got the dreads and he's just like 6'5", just a specimen. And he came in this league at 19, starting on a middle linebacker on a football team at 19, being the general of that defense. He's made two Pro Bowls
in a generation where inside linebackers are key to defenses right now. Those inside linebackers are the key to defenses. Yeah. That makes the difference between a great defense and an all right defense. And you guys have a dude like Edmonds in the middle patrolling the field, the captain. So when I can see the field from all fields and angles, can pass rush, can cover pass coverage. I mean, you know what I mean? You can't, you know what I mean? Like that, like when he came in as young as you did, like you said, 19. I mean, he's really, he's really doing his thing, definitely for sure.
And a lot of people in Bills Mafia aren't hot on him because, he's had times where like last game, he over pursued plenty of times. And then that's when the big runs come and you don't want that from your linebacker. But a lot of people, they expect him to be Brian Urlacher and Ray Lewis and because of his draft pick. And I always said, I just want him to be Tremaine Edmonds. And he's a phenomenal linebacker. A lot of people are like, should we pick up his 5th-year option or let him go? And you got to keep that man on your field. He gets over 100 tackles every season. He got 2 Pro Bowls. He's 23 years old and he's still on his rookie contract. He could play for 12 more years and still be young.
Correct.
But last week, because him and Milano are phenomenal. They just Poyer and Hyde and Teron Johnson, who are also phenomenal. They all over pursued last game. And the problem with over pursuing is you're supposed to hit the gap when you see the gap open up and you see the lineman come through. You're supposed to meet him up, but Tremaine would run as fast as he can in the hole, and then the lineman's like, "Oh, perfect! He's lined up in the A gap. I'm going to turn like this, block him in, and then there's that big hole." So that's what happened. Instead of meeting him up, Tremaine Edmonds meeting him up like this, and then shaking him off and doing this, like how Rousseau does so well.
But honestly, I would have done the same thing. Like there's defensively. What else can you call? You know what I mean? If I'm looking at yes, I understand the Patriots have a great offensive line, but when you look at the actual, Damian Harris is all right. He's all right. There's nothing more to be said. He's just all right. Ramondre Stevenson, he's okay. Bolden, they're all. You know what I mean? Those aren't someone where you really have to You would think if you covered the gaps, you know what I mean? But every dog has their day, and they really just had a good luck day. The weather went their way. It was a Bill Belichick game.
Yeah.
That's a Bill Belichick game.
I agree.
And McDermott got simply outcoached. There's nothing you could do about it. McDermott. Belichick just had him on that day. Like I said, if it wasn't the conditions were different and you had to force Mac Jones to pass the ball, 20 times instead of the under 5, you know what I mean? It'll be a whole different game. That was just a Belichick game.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, the defensive scheme was right. We were there, but it was the execution part of it. Like I said, because if Tremaine just stood up the lineman instead of trying to beat him to a hole, it just gives him an easy block. Like I said, because if you meet him up in the middle, he's got to pick where he wants to block you. If you run right to the A gap, he just got to turn his body and his ass end goes to the running back, and then you got the perfect hole. So it was just a little too much pursuing, but these guys are going to turn it around. Like Milano got his bag for a reason. Tremaine's going to get his bag for a reason. So we got to
just like our safeties. Like I mean, like hide, man. Like y'all just got y'all got definitely duos. Y'all had duos, and y'all had Johnson and White duos. You know what I mean? You got you got the best safeties and you got the best safety duo. You got the best linebacker, one of the best linebacker duos, I should say. You know what I mean? Y'all both you know what I mean? It's just one of those games. It was just simply one of those games.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
like how could you not win over pursuit?
Yeah. The other thing that's huge this game, especially with Leonard Fournette, is we can have arm tackling, bro. Like the game against the Colts and the game against the Pats, I never seen so much arm tackling since I played modified football. And even when I played varsity, we didn't arm tackle that bad. And they teach you from modify where I'm from is 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. So that's like you get into middle school and you play football, you're unmodified. They teach you not to arm tackle. They yell at you constantly not to arm tackle. So why are these professionals trying to tackle 250-pound backs with forearms and shit? Like you gotta wrap up and you gotta gang tackle and hit hard. These dudes are trying to, Ramondre Stevenson's 250 running up the hole. Let me hit him with my forearm or try to dive at his ankle. Like that's not gonna work with these dudes. And we didn't do that. We didn't do that against Derrick Henry. Tremaine Edmonds hit Henry so hard a couple times that Henry got up and was like, and that's a big dude. And
like I said,
we weren't scared to hit
y'all
him.
came into the game looking at their backs. Y'all came like this, like you know what I mean. Like if I'm the defense and I know like my brothers are behind, I'm like, I'm going for it. I'm like because I think arm tackling is more of like I'm starting to feel like it's like a showboat kind of tackle.
It's laziness.
Those are like it's laziness. It's laziness. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to overcommit, but sometimes big plays can happen from arm tackling. That's when the fumbles, like you know what I mean? Like but like it doesn't beat like a true tackle. I think they just simply overcommit. They're thinking, oh man, you know, this is pork chop on a Sunday. You know, I got these their 3-headed monster really ain't really nothing compared to this defense. I went into there like I did not think they were going to be able to rush on y'all like they did. So, you know what I mean? And I think that was just a wake up call overall for when it comes to your rushing defense. I think that really woke up your whole defense. I really don't think that would happen for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think nothing like that would happen for the rest of the season. I think personally,
it can't do it, especially running into the playoffs too, because a lot of those plays, the big plays, came off of you had him in the backfield for a loss, and you decided to try to arm tackle him, and then he got 8 yards out of it. Like Leonard in my pregame show, I mentioned Leonard Fournette averages 3 yards after contact, and that's against everybody. So I'm looking at how we arm tackled last week, and I'm like, it could be the same thing with Jonathan Taylor. If you try to arm tackle Leonard Fournette, he's going to make you pay, and it's not going to be good.
Happening.
It's not going to be good. So we can't have – and I expect my leaders of this defense, if they see arm tackling, you got to get in their face and say, listen, bro, we got to wrap this big dude up. Leonard Fournette, he's going to carry your ass if you keep trying to arm tackle him, or he's going to run through you. You got to put your body out there. You got to step up and wrap up into him and try to bring him down.
Same with Mike Evans. They're a physical team. You know what I mean? Thank God AB's not playing. You know what I mean? Because
that would have been another person to worry about.
Boy, you know what I mean? This is a physical team. Like you said, arm tackling is not going to work on these players. You know what I mean? These dudes hit the gym, man. These ain't these little. You know what I mean? These aren't little offensive weapons you guys are going against, man. Yeah. So I think that's definitely one thing y'all definitely have to look out for.
I agree. So when you look at this matchup as a Steelers fan, I know you would want us to lose because it helps your playoff chances. But besides that, put that aside, how do you feel the game's going to go? And is there anything else we haven't talked about the game where you think that offensively or defensively we could take advantage of the Tampa Bay Bucks and come out with a win?
I think, like I said earlier, I think Me personally, I got you guys winning. It's going to be the over under should be over 60. It's going to be a shootout. I really think it's going to be a shootout. Personally, I think it's just going to come down to getting Josh Allen active. Let him, like I said, let him have that game where I was about to say committee, but have the NFL like voters be like, that's the MVP. You know what I mean? That's the MVP. This is that game where I'm letting Josh Allen go free reign. This is that game. Y'all need him right now. There's only one person that will get y'all record to where y'all need to be. If y'all want to win now, y'all need Josh Allen to have y'all win now. So I think when it comes to simply that, it comes to shutting down Leonard Fournette. Let Tom Brady feel like he can throw deep on y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all just gonna have to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
But shut down the run. Have Josh Allen do his thing. Like I expect to have Stephon Diggs to have at least. Like I'm okay with Josh Allen having 2 interceptions this week. But I want to see Stephon Diggs get at least 15 targets. I would love to see him get 14. I'd love to see Cole Beasley get over 9 or 8 targets. You know what I mean? Those are things that I expect from you guys to see. I want to see Greg Davis step up. He's doing great this year. I want to see Greg Davis step. I want to see Dawson Knox take advantage. Show Gronk who the young bull is. You know what I mean? Show Gronk who the young bull is right now.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
That's just how I'm looking at it. I really think you guys – I think I got y'all winning by a touchdown. I think I got you guys winning by a touchdown. I believe in Josh Allen. I really think Josh Allen. There's only a few quarterbacks I see even being on the level as Patrick Mahomes, and I think Josh Allen is in that tier. He simply is. I think there's only a few quarterbacks that's in that level that can really put a win column on a team, and I think Josh Allen is one of those quarterbacks that can do that.
Good stuff. And guys, he may be a Steelers fan, but he always tells me how much he loves Josh Allen. He loves Rousseau.
Thanks,
he loves Oliver. Like he's part-time Bills Mafia when we're not playing the Steelers and all that. But
I'm about to come out to a game and jump to a table. That's what I want to do. That's my goal. I'll put on a Bills jersey to jump to a table, man. I'll definitely do that.
I always tell everybody, even if you're not a Bills fan, going to a Bills game is an experience you don't want to miss. Like it's so fun. It's so one of my best friends, the Cowboys fan, he came with me to the Texans game. He said games in Dallas are nowhere close to this. And he's a Dallas fan. He said it's nowhere near this fun.
Like Bills Mafia.
Not the same.
There's nothing like Bills Mafia. There's nothing in the league that's like Bills Mafia. There's a reason why it's Bills Mafia, and that's the reason why they've been for so long. It's Bills Mafia. Win or lose, you guys are going to go out there like y'all basically the AFC's Eagles. They essentially put, and that's just another way. There's only, you know what I mean?
Except the fans are better.
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Like how you gonna go? Like I can't imagine. And I think that's one reason why you guys' record is really going to hurt you guys. I think when it comes to that playoff matchup, I want them to come through Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to play in Buffalo in the wintertime with fans yelling and screaming and cussing at them. That's part of your. That's like when they say that extra man on defense is your fans. That's one of those arenas. You know what I mean? You come through Buffalo, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the breeze. You're going to feel the cold. You're going to feel the fans. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the advantages. Like, and that's why I think you guys really like that loss against the Pats hurt. That hurt, man, because y'all really need to win that division. Y'all really need to win that division. Have the playoffs come through you guys.
But and that's still in the air. That's still possible. Very possible. We can even, believe it or not, we can still get the 1 seed if we finish 12-5, and the Chiefs go 12-5. Because we beat them, so if the Chiefs go 12-5, I believe that's how the tiebreaker works. We got them. If the Titans go 11-6, we got them. If the Pats go 11-6, we got them. If the Colts go 11-6, we got them. So it's very possible if we win out, we can get the 1 seed depending on who loses. But when I'm looking at the last thing I'm going to say about this game is when I'm looking at it, you can't get field goals against this team, and that's where I'm going to be seeing Sean McDermott. If we're getting the one Mcdermott from last year, who's aggressive and knows the urgency, like we have to score touchdowns against the Bucks because Tom Brady can throw 500 yards and 5 touchdown passes in a row. Like he can go every drive, get a touchdown. So
gotta capitalize. If you guys are in the red zone, you have to capitalize. Bass can't be the reason. Bass can't have these. Nah, you guys have to capitalize, and y'all gotta be aggressive. And this is what I mean with Josh Allen. Like this should be Josh Allen's game. I don't care if it's first or second quarter. If y'all in the red zone, if y'all in the 5 to 10, I think y'all need to get Josh Allen out there. Put him out in shotgun. Like, that's that opportunity. Have the 4 wide out. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of game. Like, that's the why I'm saying, like, Josh Allen shot that MVP performance. When we're looking at this is why this guy should be MVP. It shouldn't be Tom Brady with the MVP odds. It shouldn't be. It should be either between Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Talent-wise, that's how it should be this season, but it's not. And I think McDermott's really trying to hold. I'm not gonna blame it all on McDermott, like I said, but you gotta let Josh Allen do his thing. I just personally believe you just gotta let him do his thing. I think y'all have to have this is that game. This is the game y'all have to do it. I don't want to see field goals. I don't want to see field goals when y'all in the red zone. That's not y'all not gonna beat the Bucks that way. Because they're going to capitalize on that. They're going to capitalize. The Bucks, that's how they play. They're going to capitalize. You hit the field goal, they're going to swing around and hit a touchdown on you. You got to match their energy.
That's what I'm saying, and I agree with that 100% because even that Pats game, this is the last thing I'm going to say about that for sure, but the second to last drive where we went for a field goal and we missed it, in my mind, I'm like, we might not get the ball back. The Patriots just had a 9-minute drive. They could run the ball for 7 minutes and we're done. So I said, you got to go for a touchdown there, especially Bass even said before the game, he can kick 60 yards plus without a problem. He just said, I don't feel comfortable kicking past the extra point distance with the wind coming. And that's where the wind was coming at us.
And I agree. Like I said, that should have been
you got to go for that.
I'm putting a power line out there. And I don't even let Josh Allen do a design play, get some blocking, and get Stephon Diggs in and go take the left side. Go see Dawkins on that left side. You know what I mean? But let these dudes prove that they're worth their keep on the offensive line. That's the games that y'all should, you know what I mean? You shouldn't let the Pats line beat y'all. That's the game y'all should wake up for circling. You know what I mean? Y'all should have had that, man. It just hurts. It just hurts as a Steelers fan watching that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying we can't be repeating that. We got to go for it. If you're at the 30, you got to go for it. You can't be kicking field goals because the game could get away from you quick. It could be 14-0 quick. It could be 21-7 quick. You gotta get touchdowns and touchdowns only. And I think that's possible with this team. And last thing, I think I don't always give score prediction per se. I do think we can win this game, and I'll stick to what my prediction was in the beginning. It's either going to be a shootout that we're going to win, or it's just going to be a domination the other way because our offensive line can't hold up. But I'm confident that this is going to be a game where we flip the season around and we prove everybody this is a team that we were last year. We're well coached, we're well rounded. We got elite defense, elite offense, and we could beat anybody. And that's what I think about that game. I'm excited for it. We need this could be so huge for our team. You'd be 8-5. You beat the defending champs. You beat Tom Brady. You beat this amazing team offensively and defensively in their house. So it's a huge game for us. But after that, there's a couple games. Is there any games that you were looking at this week and this is a huge game for this other team?
Like I said, I don't have the schedule in front of me. I completely blew my mind. I should have definitely prepared for that.
No, you're good at this. This is off the cup question.
I'm looking. Damn, I don't even know who plays this week.
Who do the Bengals play this week? Do they play another playoff team, right?
I'm about to look real quick.
Cowboys and football team.
Oh no! Did you hear what McCarthy said about the Washington football team?
No.
He said that there's going to be a for sure win. They're looking to blow them. Like you're not worried about.
Oh, you're muted.
What you say? You know what I mean?
Oh, there you go. I lost you for a sec. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now, bro?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
But yeah, I mean that because my buddy said he wants to talk about NFC teams, so here we go. I love the Cowboys, and my Super Bowl prediction in the beginning of the year was Cowboys-Bills. It's not just because I love the Bills, not just because I got a lot of friends that like the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a great team, and this is actually a closer division than we expected. The football team's 6-6 now. Cowboys are 8-4. Cowboys lose this game, it's a game and a half lead, or even just a game. So it's a huge game. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's in Washington or if it's in Dallas, but Dak Prescott 7-1 against the football team, just like how Josh Allen owns the Miami Dolphins. Dak Prescott owns the football team, but the football team's got some good players. But
I'm rooting for the football team, bro. I'm being honest with you. I think they're gonna pull it out. I don't believe it. It's actually in Washington tomorrow too, by the way.
Nice. You could probably go to that game. You're close to Washington.
Yeah, pretty close. Not too bad. I'm closer to Philly though. Definitely want to go out to Lincoln Financial. I would love to go out there, see a couple Eagles games, show my love to them, show love to my boys.
But yeah,
So,
I mean, that's a huge game.
how about the Raiders and Chiefs?
Yeah, I think after last game they had, it was a blowout. But when you look at the Raiders, they're going through so much, dude. Like 2 of their first round pick, Henry Ruggs went through that tragedy. He drove drunk and killed that woman and her dog. You know, I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to get punished, but I can't imagine his mental state after doing that. Obviously, he knew what he was doing, but I know he didn't get in that car drunk and thinking like, I want to kill someone tonight. So I feel for his mental and his heart. He's hurting bad, and he's going to be in jail for a long time. But you lose him in that tragedy. Like that's hard for a team to handle.
And then losing John Gruden at that.
Yep. You figure out your coach is saying racist stuff, homophobic stuff, bad slurs towards women, and then you're sitting there like, wow, we just lost him after hearing all that. And then we lost Henry Ruggs to a tragedy, and Damon Arnett, our first round pick, got released because he's doing all this bad stuff. The Raiders are going through it, man, but they lost some bad games. But Waller's not playing.
Nope, he's out. Mm-hmm.
So it's. But the Chiefs haven't really impressed me on offense the last few games.
I haven't been feeling the Chiefs. I really haven't been feeling the Chiefs this season. They just haven't been up to par with me personally. It's in Kansas City, so it's going to be an uphill battle. It's going to come down to Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs just getting that offensive line, taking the bit. Because that defense, only thing about the Chiefs right now, and this is the scariest thing about the Chiefs, they have never been the team with a great defense. This year, the defense is carrying the offense. And that's the only thing that worries me, because let the offense start clicking. Like, I mean, they could make some damage, man. I mean, that defense is really, really stepping up right now. I mean, the defense is doing most of the heavy lifting, with Patrick Mahomes having his off year, Travis Kelce having the down year, Hill having the down year, with CEH going down for a little bit. I mean, it's definitely going to come down to that defense. And like I said, the biggest worry is if the Chiefs start clicking, they're the best team in the AFC. It's just no way around it.
Here's what I will say, though, about that defense. I'll use the same narrative that people use about Buffalo, who they play. This is why their defense is good. Mm-hmm. And on the streak, the 5-game win streak, they almost lost to the Giants. Mm-hmm. They won 20-17 to the Giants and Daniel Jones. They beat the Packers with Jordan Love 13-7. Mm-hmm. I don't think Deante Adams played that game either. They were missing some other good player.
Right.
And hold on one sec. My computer was dying. But they were missing some players. They won 13-7. Then they beat some bad teams, and then now they're like the talk of the town. But we're an elite defense, and we shut out the Dolphins and the Texans, and we give up 6 points to the Saints and all this stuff. And they say, oh well, they were hurt or they weren't a good team, so it doesn't count. Right. But when the Chiefs do it, it's this defense is back. This defense is playing elite. Or the Patriots, they play the Browns when they don't have Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt and Baker Mayfield's hurt, and they play the Titans without Derrick Henry and AJ Brown and Julio Jones. So they get praised for their elite defensive play. It doesn't matter if there's injuries or not, but when we do it, it's they were injured. Who the Bills play? They're a trash team. So statistically, the Chiefs defense is balling out, but they didn't play against a team that I'm just like, oh wow, you shut out the Buffalo Bills, or you shut out the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys game, they got 9 points, but that was the worst game the Cowboys played all season. Correct. And if you catch the Cowboys now, they'll hang up 30 on them.
You believe in the Cowboys? You really high on the Cowboys this year? I can't do it, man.
That's all they got.
I can't do it.
CeeDee Lamb, Cooper. You got Schultz. Is it I don't know his first name.
Beast. Dalton Schultz. Mm-hmm. Beast.
Tony Pollard. Mm-hmm. Zeke's having a great year. Mm-hmm. You got all these weapons and Gallup, and you got Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, you can't even tell he was injured last year. Sometimes I forget he had a season-ending ankle injury. I'm just like, wow, he's balling out. And you got Micah Parsons, and you got Gregory, I think his name is, but their defense isn't that great, but they're playing awesome. And you got Trayvon Diggs leading the way in the secondary, who's really came out on his own and played well after getting beat a lot last year. But guess who he goes up against all offseason? One of the best receivers in the league every day. He's training with his brother. So I'm not surprised that he's good at all. And this Cowboys team
with hands like a wide receiver at that.
Yeah, right. This Cowboy team is I like what they're doing. I'm not a huge fan of Mike McCarthy, and a lot of my friends that are Cowboys fans aren't that much of a fan of him either. But
Mhm.
they got a great team, and it's hard to deny that of them. But I think the Cardinals. When you look at the Cardinals and the Packers, they're good, but the Packers just can't get over that hump. They got one Super Bowl in this regime with Aaron Rodgers, and
Mhm.
they don't have great offensive weapons. They're missing Bakhtiari, or however you pronounce his last name. Sorry, I got that wrong. I know he's not listening, but I'm sorry for people that get offended about messing up names. But they're not that great offensively either. Aaron Jones is good. AJ Dillon, I love him. I wanted him last year or 2 years ago when
Beast.
he was drafted. He's a
Beast.
he's a
Beast.
beast, but they got a few elite players, and then their defense is missing a lot of players. That a couple of I think a D lineman was hurt, a linebacker was hurt, Alexander's hurt. So I'm looking at the Cowboys. They're a well put together team offensively, and they're just like the Bills. They can put 30 plus on any team.
So, questions. When you're looking at the Cowboys, like, do you think they're better than San Francisco? Do you think they're better than Green Bay?
I mean, like I said, Green Bay's a great team, but they just, when it comes down to it, they never get it done. So who
You think they're
knows?
better than Arizona?
Here's the thing. I don't want to try to take away from Arizona. I don't think they're a great team. I don't know how they started winning. Like, I haven't watched them at all this year, but I mean, they got D-Hop and everything, and Murray's decent. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I think he's having a good year. Well, elite to me is top 5. If you're number 6, you're not elite. You're great.
But can I ask you this? If
Yeah.
he was healthy all season, he'll be a top 5 quarterback. You know what I mean? The man did miss, like, what was it, 3 to 4 games? If he was playing, he would be top 5. I got him over skill wise right now. Like, I understand there's a couple dudes, but there's no me personally, and I'm a big Dak fan. I'm putting Kyle Murray in before Dak.
Well, yeah, I think you can argue that too, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think he's that guy. I mean, he's great, but I don't think he's not Mahomes or Allen or Brady or even. I mean, I think Lamar's even has better talent than Murray does, but Lamar doesn't have the weapons offensively.
Mm-hmm.
If your tight ends, your leading receiver, touchdowns and receptions, there's a problem. So I'm not taking away from Murray. I think he's outstanding. I just don't see him in that elite category. I think he's got a lot of talent around him, and their defense is pretty good. But we got to see how they are in the playoffs. Yeah, they're 10-2 right now, but this is like their first year where they've been good in a long time. So we got to see how they act in the playoffs. But like I said, they're 10-2. I can't take that away from them. They're a great team and all, but I just don't think he's that guy that's going to get it done. And I could be wrong, and I'll come on here again and say that I was wrong. I got no problem doing that. But we got to see when it comes to playoff time. But I mean, I like the Packers too. The Packers are great. They're always in the playoffs. It seems like they're getting into the NFC Championship. But it's only a matter of time before the Cowboys make it that far. They got the offense, like I said.
I'm just not high on the Cowboys. I'm just not. I don't know. I just think when it comes to getting the shit done, getting the job done, there's always a mental lapse with them. There's always something like I know, like, I don't know, like, I just look at them and I just see, like, they have so many like, I just look over the past couple years, you know what I mean? And it's the black cat rolling through there, man. The black cat's rolling through AT&T Center, man. I'm telling you, like, the Cowboys just don't. When it comes to them, like, we always put our high hopes on. On paper, they probably have the best team and one of the best teams. They got the best rookie defensive player, arguably defensive player of the year, in Micah Parsons. Like, I mean, he is a dog. You know what I mean? You can say that. You know what I mean? They got a 2-headed monster. Zeke's not even healthy. You got Pollard out here carrying the load. You know what I mean? CeeDee Lamb, I think, arguably between him, I was high on Judy before Lamb, but he smashed out the window. CeeDee Lamb is CeeDee Lamb. He's the man right now. Like, I mean, on paper, they do their thing, but at the end of the day, I don't trust McCarthy. I just think they're too busy in the press. I don't know. They want to carry the title as America's team, but at the end of the day, they don't carry that title hard enough. You know what I mean? It's just too much. It's too much of a. one
I
of those
feel
things
that.
to me. You know what I mean?
I think this playoff push for both conferences is going to be very fun. It's going to be outstanding. It's going to be crazy. I mean, it's so close in every facet. And another Army buddy, Baker, says tighten up. He's a Seahawks fan, but ever since we lost to the Titans, he always says tighten up. He's from Tennessee.
And
So
shout out to the Titans, man. Shout out to the
tighten
Titans.
up.
My boy Dupree went down on y'all, man. I'm sorry about that, bro. I'm sorry about that.
But yeah, we're hitting an hour 45. It doesn't even feel like it. A lot of good conversation. I'm so happy that we got to do this together, man. I'm glad that you wanted to come on my show and talk. You did absolutely great, and
Thank you,
I'm
man. I
excited for your
appreciate
YouTube
it.
channel. And when you get it all set up, we can come on here again and do another show, and then we can
Hell
put
yeah,
you out
man.
there, and then we'll keep it rolling because I
Yeah,
had a
bro.
great time. It was great to reconnect with you, and I'm excited to talk more football. I mean, I'm not a huge basketball fan. I'm a Thunder fan, but I don't follow basketball all too well. But I'll come on and talk hoops. I'll talk fantasy,
And we'll
anything with
talk.
you.
We'll talk about off season NFL shit. You know, the draft's gonna be up there. You know, off season moves. You know, we gonna definitely have some big plans together, man. We're gonna definitely have some big
Absolutely.
plans together, bro. And I
Drop
really
a like.
appreciate you having me on the show, man. Thank you for everyone that's coming out, watching the video, watching wherever you are. You could be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're watching this. So that's, you know what I mean. All love, man.
Absolutely. We appreciate everyone that came out. If you haven't yet, like the video, share it with your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your baby, anybody. Share this out to everybody. We appreciate everything. More to come for sure. I think we're going to do one next week as well. And with another one of our old army buddies. And he's a Charger fan, so we'll probably do like just a game recap for, I mean, that sounds good, right? Game recap for all three teams.
Hell yeah, man.
And then, he likes fantasy too, so we could talk about fantasy. But keep a lookout, guys. We got more content coming for you. Duncan, Bootsy, you got any other final thought you want to say about your channel? Anything?
Definitely keep you guys updated on the channel. I'm gonna try to get that done probably within the next couple of weeks. Gonna make a new social handle for the page and everything. So
Beautiful.
definitely be on the lookout for that. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a lot of red, white, and bills and Bootsy later down in history. So this ain't gonna be the first time you see this. The last time I met. So you know what I mean? We got a long season ahead of us. Season's nowhere close to over. We're still in the meaty part of the season. So
yeah, it's gonna get fun. Thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate you guys tuning in, showing me and my buddy some love. We got more to come for sure. Until next time, you know what I always say: go Bills.
I'll fuck it. I'll say it too, man.
Go Bills.
Go
All right,
Bills,
baby.
bro.
Thank you guys for coming out. Peace.
Thank you, y'all, man.